Go.
Ready? All right. Good evening. We'll now call the business session of April 21, 2020 to order at 6:03 p.m. On March 16, 2020, the governor suspended various provisions of the Open Meetings Act pursuant to the State of Disaster Authority. The change was effective March 16, 2020 until further notice or until the state disaster declaration expires. In accordance with social distancing guidelines and while providing as much transparency as possible, this Waco City Council meeting will not be open to the public. This meeting is being broadcast live at WCCC.tv. The audio is being recorded and the recording will be available to the public. According to general statutes that may require face-to-face interaction between the members of the public and public officials are suspended, provided, however, that governmental bodies offer alternative methods of communicating with their public officials. This includes public comment on agenda items and other items. And in an effort to allow for as much public input as possible, those who wish to submit written comments on a listed agenda item were asked to submit their comments to the city secretary no later than 2 hours before our meeting today. The city secretary, Esmeralda Hudson, will read into the record the comments submitted to her by 1 p.m. today for items on the agenda during the appropriate time. For public hearings, the public was asked to register with the city secretary and will call in by phone to provide their comments. When the registered speaker is acknowledged, they must limit their comments to 3 minutes. For any person addressing the council through the use of a translator, the speaking time will be doubled to accommodate the translation service. Now, please join us and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item of business will be to consider and approve the minutes of the April 7th, 2020. Are there any changes to those minutes? Hearing none, those will stand approved. We have 2 public hearings tonight. The first is public hearing 2020-253.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. This is a public hearing to receive comments on an amendment to the program years 2015, 2018, and 2019 Consolidated Annual Action Plans to provide additional funding for single-family housing development and tenant-based rental assistance, which are in support of the city's COVID-19 response and ensure timely spending of federal funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The amendments are as follows. Provide $112,209 for funding to construct a single-family home for purchase by a low to moderate income household. Provide $102,500 to assist with tenant-based rental assistance for the Heart of Texas MHMR in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The amendment was placed out for public comment period from April 15th, 2020 through April 20th of 2020. Notice was placed in the non-legal section of the Waco Tribune Herald newspaper, posted on the city's website and on the city's bulletin board. No comments were received.
Okay, I will open a public hearing. Madam Secretary, are there any comments?
No, Mayor and Council, we received no public comments on for or against this item.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion for approval. Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes.
Kennard?
Yes.
Sabido?
Yes.
Fairfield?
Yes.
Deaver?
Yes, that motion carries. Public hearing 2020-254.
Honorable Mayor and Council members, this is a public hearing to receive comments on an amendment to the program years 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 Consolidated Annual Action Plans to provide funding for public facility improvements and public service activities which are in support of the city's COVID-19 response and ensure timely spending of federal funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in our CDBG program as follows. Provide $25,000 for bus shelters along bus routes for citizens in low to moderate income areas. Provide funding up to $112,070.97 to assist with operating expenses for the Mission Waco Shelter in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Provide funding up to $119,070.48 to assist with operating expenses for the Salvation Army Shelter in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Provide funding totaling $21,000 to provide water safety programs to the YMCA for children. These funds are the remainder from completed projects from prior project years and are now being requested to be reassigned. The amendment was placed out for public comment period from April 15th, 2020 through April 20th, 2020. Notice was placed in the non-legal section of the Waco Tribune Herald newspaper, posted on the city's website and on the city's bulletin board. To date, we have one comment that was received.
Okay. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll open a public hearing. Madam Secretary, are there any comments on this item?
Mayor and council, there were no comments on this for or against this item.
Okay. We'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Sabido,
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Deaver,
Yes, that motion carries. Resolution 2020-263 was added by an addendum to the agenda. It is to consider a resolution modifying the declaration of local disaster and public health emergency issued on Tuesday, March 17th, 2020, and amended on Thursday, March 19th, 2020, and Monday, March 23rd, 2020 by Mayor Kyle Deaver, and as ordered by the City Council of the City of Waco, Texas on Tuesday, March 24th, 2020, and as extended on March 31, 2020 and April 14th, 2020, the city order to allow retail businesses that are not essential businesses to provide retail service through pickup, delivery by mail, or delivery to the customer's doorstep. Said modification to be effective at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, April 24th, 2020, and renewing, restating, and continuing the city's order as may be amended by the City Council of the City of Waco, Texas. Is there a motion on that?
For approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to confirm that was Councilmember Sabido for the first motion.
Yes.
Okay, please hold the council.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Sabido,
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Deaver,
Yes, that motion carries. The consent agenda tonight consists of resolutions 2020-255 through 2020-261. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Move approval of consent agenda. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Sabido,
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Deaver,
Yes, that motion carries. We have one ordinance tonight. It is ordinance 2020-262.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, designating Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. as the City of Waco Depository for the period of May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2023, providing for an option to extend for a period not to exceed 2 years, subject to special conditions, prescribing conditions concerning funds in such depository, awarding a contract for said depository bank services to Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute any documents in connection therewith, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, finding and determining the meaning at which this ordinance is passed, is open to the public as required by law, and declaring an emergency. This ordinance comes to you on an emergency reading which requires 2 votes and the favorable vote of 3/4 of all council members qualified and serving.
Okay, do we have a motion on first reading?
Motion for approval on first reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Sabito,
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes. And Jennifer, does it need to be reread or just re-voted on?
Just to be safe, let me read it one more time, and then we can vote. An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, designating Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. as the City of Waco depository for the period of May 1st, 2020 through April 30th, 2023, providing for an option to extend for a period not to exceed 2 years, subject to special conditions, prescribing conditions concerning funds in such depository, awarding a contract for said depository bank services to Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute any documents in connection therewith, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith, finding and determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, is there a motion?
Move approval. Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes,
Aye.
Meek,
Yes.
Kennard,
Yes.
Sabito,
Yes.
Fairfield,
Yes.
Seaver,
Yes, that motion carries. Are there any council member reports on committees or boards or commissions liaison visits? Okay, seeing none, I just want to thank our citizens again for the great work that they have done in complying with our shelter-in-place and stay-at-home order. Our county continues to do very well with flattening the curve, and that is thanks to the great work that you all are doing and the sacrifices that you have made in order to do that. And so I ask that you continue that, and would urge each of you, when you are out in public, to wear some kind of face covering or mask. It does not have to be a surgical mask. It can be any kind of cloth covering will help to prevent the spread as we move farther into this. And just remember to also keep your social distance, because wearing a mask does not keep you from needing to do that. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and hope everybody stays safe. Take care. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Mayor.